You know, they were talking openly about robots. If you haven't seen the video, I believe it's
They were talking about robots. What? Hello, lucky people. My name is Emma. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Hope you have a great time. Thanks for coming. Today we are going to look at an example of one of my favorite genres of online media, of YouTube channel. That is fundamentalist, religious, demons are real, Satan is taking over via the media, New World Order, conspiracy thing. Okay, if I'm going to class it as a genre, I need to workshop the title, I understand that. This sort of thing was really big, like, I don't know, 10 years ago. It would be like, Rihanna is secretly a demon, and then it would show like a Rihanna music video and pause on a frame where her eyes were black and be like, Rihanna demon confirmed. That sort of video. My dad and I used to be really into those videos. We watched those and laughed at them a lot until he became a Christian and started believing in demons. Oh my god, the videos work. I gotta thank Frank for sending this to me on Twitter. This channel is a wild ride if you like these kind of videos. I use like in a loose term because obviously part of the reason I talk about them is because I think they're really spreading an unnecessary amount of fear to people who are vulnerable to that sort of thing. But it is entertaining. So this is a call for an uprising. So if we take a look at the latest uploads, it's all things like, warning! Major satanic rituals happening worldwide today. Baby Baphomet statue going up in state capitol building today. Sweet. Share this immediately. They just announced the next steps of the reset plan. It's all proper clickbaity pop culture fear stuff like Squid Game is secretly means something to do with the devil. Sesame Street is indoctrinating your children into something evil. Vaccines are the mark of the beast. All that kind of stuff, the kind of stuff that it's always been. There is just so much to enjoy here. We're going to look specifically at a video that came as a result of the Metaverse announcement. You remember the really cringy Metaverse trailer? If you haven't watched it, Mark Zuckerberg's thing where he turns into a little anime video game boy and talks to his friends, it's creepy. Honestly, if you point at that and say the Metaverse is satanic, I'll probably agree with you. So this video is called A Nightmare Scenario is Beginning to Take Place. I don't know about you, but personally, I can't wait to hear about how new technology is destroying everything and allowing the devil to take away our children, etc., etc. Let's get into it. This is a call for an uprising. A nightmare scenario is beginning to take place. And this is a copyrighted song. So we might have to unfortunately skip past a Call for an Uprising's intro animation. Do you know what? Okay, what I'll do, I'll put on closed captions. We'll just have to mute it. There's a cool voiceover guy doing the world is being destroyed by the Illuminati. It's that. Imagine it, okay? Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time.
This is a call.
The actual title card that says A Call for an Uprising was on screen for like 2 seconds. That's not long enough to read it. A Call for an Uprising, if you're watching, could you extend that a little bit? Because it's too short. Thank you very much.
That are to come as far as the metaverse, the virtual world, how everything that's happening right now is to lead to that, a certain something that they want inside of people's bodies that's going to enable them to connect to this universe without even having to use the virtual glasses that you see the celebrities pushing over and over. But the scariest part...
I must have missed the boat on celebrities pushing virtual glasses. I'm going to take a guess that the thing that they're putting inside the bodies, Call for an Uprising thinks that is the mark of the beast. That's my guess.
Part about it is that this indoctrination is going to now shift towards the children, because they want these children to know nothing other than this. So think about when we were...
If he's talking about VR, which I assume he is based on the picture, I feel like that's already been directed at children. I feel like that's been directed at children pretty much the whole time. Like it's always been part of like games development, which largely targets children, right?
Kids, right? A lot of us played Atari or Super Mario Brothers. Didn't become obsessed with it. I was never fantasizing about going into, Bowser's castle and saving the princess. But in today's reality, the woke, quote unquote, people literally want to live in this fake reality.
Citation needed. First of all, you got to define who the woke... What did he say? The woke crowd? Who are they? Who are the woke crowd? Is that people like me who talk about social equality? What's that got to do with wanting to live in a virtual world? Who are these people, first of all? And second of all, find me the source that says they all want to live in a virtual world. He's just saying scary things to frighten Christian parents. Like every one of these channels like this we ever look at. It's entirely designed to scare Christian parents into making them money.
They sit around, they play these games 24/7, they build their own universes,
Who are these woke crowd playing games 24/7? Who is that? That's nobody. That's nobody. That's not... he's acting like there's some sort of majority of people are playing virtual reality games 24/7, living in their own imaginary universes.
buy their clothes on there, all this stuff. It's just, to say it's embarrassing is an understatement, but it's frightening because they're going to go after the children now.
Why? Explain. What's embarrassing? Who are these people? Okay, Call For An Uprising if you're still listening. First of all, you need to define who you're talking about, and then you need to provide some actual sources and information. Who are these people? Are they playing video games 24/7? What do you mean they're buying clothes in there? Why is that embarrassing? What's embarrassing? Who are you embarrassed by? Give me some information. You're just saying... It's like narrating a fiction.
And how they're going to do that is they're going to start implementing virtual reality into the schools. And they're already doing it. Look at the horror show that is this.
Tonight, Iredale Statesville Schools is one of only a few districts in the state to implement virtual reality as a means of career exploration. Students use the headsets to virtually try out nearly 30 different jobs in high-demand fields. Fox 46 Northeast Bureau Chief Sydney Heiberger was at Lakeshore Middle School today to see it in action.
Just straight up, sounds really cool. I can't wait to hear why this is satanic.
Lessons in middle school sure look a lot different now.
Virtual reality is in their world. They love the 3D Oculus devices anyway, so it's really a place for them where they feel at home.
Meeting kids in their digital world to teach them how to be a productive part of the real world.
It is very early, but we're finding out that kids really want to be exposed to it. They really want to see what's out there.
These headsets teleport each student into a different job scenario. There, they can practice careers in public safety, manufacturing.
Oh no, this child is learning how to be a car mechanic. The horror! This is exactly the same new technology phobia as when they started putting computers in schools. Remember when there used to be a computer room in school and it was these fucking big blocky machines and you would get like a maths game on there and you would do that for an hour? Or you would have like some basic ass word processor and you would learn to use that? Now that's a vital part of our society and it's really beneficial, especially to people like me that work in some kind of technological field, to have learnt that in school. It's great. These kids are learning like potential future careers and getting to invest. Look how like detailed and cool that VR like car mechanic thing is. That's awesome. What we're looking at on this news source here is basically just a career fair. It's super inclusive if any kids can't travel. You get way more specific and advanced looks at specific careers. What could possibly be scary about this? It's teaching them real-world vocations. He described this as a horror show. What?
Manufacturing, engineering. Each month or so, new careers get added.
I did the automotive where you could change oil, and it was really cool because it took you through the different steps of changing the oil and told you what the different tools were.
To be a fireman, it'd be really cool because it showed how to use a fire extinguisher and how to put fires out.
The district believes by exposing kids to careers early, they're able to discover their interests and register for classes that meet them.
They have so few elective credit opportunities. We want them to be very aware of what's around them and what the opportunities are, not only in Iredale County, but the surrounding areas.
In Mooresville, Sydney Heiberger, Fox 46.
That's awesome. Isn't that just a cool new way to teach skills? The same way that, when we got computers, we could start learning online courses or watching videos by a Call For An Uprising. He's using new technology, remember? He's specifically using the terrifying new technology. It's just, the bit that he's using is fine. It's the other bits that are scary and demonic.
So this is one way they're going to start targeting kids because these kids aren't going to know a world where, well, that stuff didn't exist. They're going to think that this is normal. Oh, yeah, well, we did that in kindergarten. We did that in first grade. They walk around.
Just like, the generation of kids that grew up with computers. See, I think, but part of me wonders if maybe sometimes people are just a bit jealous that the younger generation got a kind of head start on the technology that we use now. When I went through school and sixth form, I did computing at AS level. That's 17 years old for friends with a different education system. And I was completely new to it, and so were my classmates, because there was no computing at GCSE in school. When I left school and they added computing to the GCSE curriculum, and suddenly kids were learning from 12, 13 how to do computing, I was a little bit jealous. I was like, man, I would have loved that. It's a shame I didn't have that. Sometimes I think some of this, kids today grow up with this technology, sometimes I think that is a little bit of that jealousy. Kids are growing up with the technology we use now day to day in our lives and in the workforce, and it can leave some people feeling a little bit behind. Okay, it's a bit of a leap to go from that to evil demonic entities, but maybe that's a little part of it.
Room, grabbing in the air at things that aren't there, not knowing what's real and what's not, because they're blurring the lines of reality.
Again, citation needed, otherwise this is just an appeal to emotion, this is just a fear tactic. Are there children who use VR so much that they don't know what's real and what is not? I'm going to say no, there aren't, until a Call for an Uprising can provide me with some actual information or some sources and prove that he's not just speaking out of his own arse.
For these children. Now for adults, like I've said, it's going to be much harder to get them into the metaverse, but they're going to use tools and tactics.
So he thinks that VR in general is all specifically about getting us into the Facebook metaverse.
They're going to continue to make this world a horror show so that people actually...
Oh, now this world is a horror show. Everything's a horror show.
Do want to escape to
appeal to emotion, appeal to emotion, appeal to emotion.
A virtual world where they feel safe and can have fun. As people continue to be locked inside their homes.
Somebody's seen The Matrix too many times.
Thinking that there's actually something going on when there isn't, because they're...
Or Ready Player One. He's just watched Ready Player One and it really hit him emotionally, even though that film is terrible.
They're completely brain dead and actually think that Big Brother is here, has our best interest at heart.
If we had a bingo card, inappropriately referencing 1984 would definitely be one of them for these channels. Good God.
They're eventually going to give in because they're going to sell them on these things. They're going to have pop-up stores where people...
They. Who's they? They're going to give in. People are going to... They're going to sell them on these things. They're going to have pop-up stores. Who? The Illuminati? Who's the Illuminati? Do you mean the American government? Do you mean Mark Zuckerberg and the people working on the metaverse? Who are you talking about? Show me some evidence. Show me something. All he's shown us so far is a clip of kids learning how to change oil in a car.
And try it out. Just like cell phones and other things at first where people were skeptical, it becomes normal. Just like these Fit watches and everything, it's normal. The same thing with the virtual stuff. It's gotten so bad, not only are they targeting...
I like that he's saying that like it's a terrible thing, but that's just how all modern technology works. That's what the Industrial Revolution was. People were very skeptical of these machines that were going to put everybody out of a job and be an absolute nightmare. People, if they had YouTube during the Industrial Revolution, there would be videos by people like this that looked exactly like this, but it would be fear over the new machines in the factories. That's just progress, baby. Our lives weren't ruined by trains or planes. Just, take a second to pull yourself out of your specific experience and try and understand it contextually just a little bit.
Kids, but... They're doing things like this. Get a load of this. Getting married in the metaverse. I kid you not. A couple literally got married in the metaverse. Now,
literally got married. This looks interesting. I'm going to look this up. Like a ceremony within a video game, though, it's important to note that any weddings that occur solely in the metaverse are currently not legal. Even virtual weddings by video conference aren't legal. I've got the same article here. It's the New York Times. So this couple got married in real life first. They had a proper wedding at a real venue with a friend of theirs who was ordained. And then they also hosted a virtual ceremony because thanks to the pandemic, a lot of their friends couldn't be there. It's just the same as utilizing, say, Zoom technology. What's so terrifying about that?
Technically, it's not legal yet to get married in the metaverse, but that'll change soon. Just like,
Okay, citation needed. I gotta get some citation needed merch going, and then I can just, like, if I have a mug or something, I can just point to it instead of saying it over and over again.
Certain other things change about certain people getting married, right? Of course it'll change. And
Again, super, super vague. What's he alluding to here? Is the impression I get is that he's trying to suggest that same-sex marriage is a problem? I can't see what else he would be talking about, but again, he's being super, super vague, just trying to tug at the emotional response of people who are afraid of same-sex marriage.
people will think that this is normal. One couple's recent nuptials in the...
Buddy, let me look this up. I want to make sure I get the year right of this. Buddy, in 2009, people were marrying their Nintendo DS's. And that arguably was weirder, because at least in this case, they're marrying another real person. They're just hosting the wedding virtually. Partly virtually. They still had the wedding in real life, remember?
virtual world, known as the Metaverse, showcase the possibilities of having a wedding unfettered by the bounds of reality. Tracy and Dave Gagnon, make you gag all right, met in the cloud.
That's just rude.
I'm not sure how you can meet in the cloud. But so it only made sense that their wedding took place on a Labor Day weekend. The couple had held a ceremony staged by Verbella, a company that builds virtual environments for work, learning, and events. As they got married, their avatars walked down the aisle side by side. I mean, what are we witnessing going on here other than mass?
I don't know. Tell me what we're witnessing and why it's bad. He's just sitting there reading it out going, what is this? Evil.
Insanity. So these types of things are going to be normalized. Getting married in the virtual realm. Oh, you can...
They got married in real life too. I'm just going to keep reminding them they got married in real life. This was just a way for people who couldn't attend to join in some way.
You can meet somebody who lives in Russia and you live in Idaho and you're on the Metaverse and you meet them in a club and you kick it off and you get married. And everyone will say, well, what's wrong with that?
Okay, even before we get to what's wrong with that, that's not new. It's still not new. People have been online dating since the internet began. Before that, classifieds were in the newspaper. He's probably around the generation, at least, of people who were using the telephone all the time at home in their teens, and their parents were saying, nobody talks in real life anymore. And that's what people say now because nobody telephones anymore. God, how many couples do I know that got together or, solidified their early relationship by playing video games? Yeah, the game they're playing isn't technically real, but their bonding and communication together is still a real thing. It doesn't matter whether it's in a virtual world or over the phone or in person. You're still talking to the same person.
Real. Because this is where we're headed, to the Mark of the Beast system.
The Mark of the Beast system! I know this shit. My dad gave me a book made for children that said, don't take the Mark of the Beast, and it had a certificate that you could pull out and you were supposed to sign to promise you would never do it. And I never signed it.
Which I mean, some people already believe we're in the Mark of the Beast system, but this is headed towards headed towards the end, right? Where people are living inside of a different realm. And the scariest part really is the fact that this is going to be a new way to interact with kids in school. Kids are going to be told, oh, yeah, we have class day, we're going to do this, and they're going to push.
Call for an uprising. Why is this the Mark of the Beast system? What is your evidence? What is your reason for believing that the virtual world is something to... What specifically in this virtual world is the Mark of the Beast? Again, you've got to define your terms. What is the Mark of the Beast system? How do you know we're in it or moving towards it? Why is virtual reality for kids in school a part of that? I need some information, I need some answers. At the moment you're giving me nothing. Just calls to emotion.
Like you saw in that clip, oh, you could be a mechanic. Put your virtual glasses on and we'll teach you stuff. And people at home will be clueless because they'll just say, wow, that's really great. They're learning a lot.
That is pretty much exactly what I said. Wow, they're learning a lot. How cool.
Learning a lot. But what they're really doing is indoctrinating them and preparing them for the metaverse, for the virtual realm.
They, first of all, again, who is they? They are indoctrinating them. Says the crowd who believes that children should be pulled out of schools so they can be specifically indoctrinated into biblical Christianity. Literally the comments in this video are like, this is why you shouldn't send kids to school. Saying one of these is actually indoctrination. One of them is very much not.
Whether it's the metaverse or the omniverse, whatever one they
What is the omniverse?
decide to push, there'll probably be multiple of these things because they'll
These things. What things? Online platforms? Is this virtual reality brands? What things? Define!
continue to give people the illusion of choice, which is part of the American hoax, that freedom exists, like I've said a million times. So, you
Is the Mark of the Beast system only happening in America? Is it only the USA that's affected by the Mark of the Beast and this new technology? Or is it worldwide?
can which one you want to be in, you can meet who you want to meet, and most importantly, you can be who you want to be. Right? Just like the video I did, I showed everybody about the robots and how, they were talking openly about robots. If you haven't seen the video, I believe it's
They were talking about robots. What? Were they talking about robots in the movie? Because that's one of my favourite movies. I love that film.
the last video I did. They're talking about robots taking humans' jobs so that humans can focus
He literally is using the exact same fear-based arguments as they were in the Industrial Revolution. And guess what? That wasn't the Mark of the Beast system and the world didn't end. Jesus didn't come back. Like, what's your problem if it's the Mark of the Beast system anyway? Isn't that what you want? Don't you want the ending so Jesus can come back and save us all and you can go to heaven, but heaven is then on earth and it's all a paradise? Or, I don't know, the end of that story gets a bit wacky for me.
of the great delusion that's going on. These people have been
The Great Delusion. Again, he's not going to define that, so I'll do it for you. Great Delusion is Thalassonians. God will send them a powerful delusion, so they believe the lie. End time stuff.
under mind control since the television's come out, but these shows that constantly push like American
Again, citation needed. There's an interesting thought in there. The concept of mind control being out since the dawn of television. There's almost an interesting premise there where you could go into the history of attempted subliminal messaging, the way that we've been affected by advertising and how common that's become. There's definitely something interesting in there that you could talk about regarding the media attempting to change our perceptions and things. Just sort of brushing that away as the end times, the devil.
idol, like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. So these people are gonna be like, oh yeah, I can get into the metaverse, I can sing at a club in the metaverse, I could have a concert in the metaverse. This is all part of it. So the frightening thing about it is that the
It's
children
got a weird thing with singing. Singing in a virtual world is a big problem for this guy. Maybe he wanted to be a singer and he couldn't make it work.
are going to be under constant attack, being indoctrinated with this trash
Being indoctrinated by what trash?
stuff as a learning tool, but it's not a learning tool. And it's not a
It is a learning tool.
learning experience. It's an indoctrination. This is all they'll know.
You encouraging people to pull their kids out of school and teach them the Bible? That's actually indoctrination. Giving kids VR to see what jobs they might want to do in the future? That is not.
No, and it'll be normal for them. And then when they get to second grade, they'll be using it again, and third grade, fourth grade. And then eventually, by the time, 10, 20 years from now, it'll be inside of you. You won't need the goggles. Cool.
Source? In 10, 20 years, the virtual world will be inside of you, and you won't need the goggles.
I could just see it with my own eyes. Yeah. Frightening, isn't it?
Is it? It's frightening if you're predisposed to be afraid of these things, and therefore you latch on to these vague ideas and potential threats and comments with your own fears. It's frightening because you're throwing out a "think of the children." No, it's not frightening. Your video is frightening because it's an appeal to emotion with no substance. There is no fact, no information. Pure fear tactics for Christian parents, and it's going to make them make their children more isolated. They're going to find it harder to fit into society because they've been kept away from it, because they've been taught that it's evil. It's going to be very hard for them to make friends and actually get those jobs because they're not going to be allowed to take part in those experiences. You're the ones indoctrinating children. Please stop. Let them have a normal childhood.
Pray for these children out there because the parents are so dumb.
Prayer doesn't work. Intercessory prayer demonstrably does not work. You can do it if you want to, but it's not going to have any impact.
And I get it, parents, might both work, let their kids go to school, but you know what I mean for the most part. Parents are so dumb that they're going to see stuff like this and they're going to think it's an advancement for their child. Oh, technology.
Oh, parents are going to see an advancement in technology and think it's an advancement in technology. They're crazy. What are they thinking, these parents?
Oh, they're learning more than we did. Oh, it's hands-on. They're using their hands even though they're just walking around a room aimlessly.
It's not aimlessly if they have an aim.
It's embarrassing. Walking around a room with glasses on, grabbing at the air, and there's nothing there, thinking that there is. And then the lines...
It's just more appeals to emotion. It's embarrassing. He keeps saying the same things. It's embarrassing, it's terrifying, it's horrifying, it's a horror show, it's so embarrassing and scary. Just saying all of those things and trying to pull at people's heartstrings because of the children, that doesn't make it so. You can't just say something over and over again and make it true.
...of reality are blurred, which I warned people about when the Pokemon Go game came out.
The Pokemons! Grumpy Christian parents have been complaining about Pokemon since day one. He's like, oh yeah, we grew up with video games, I played Mario. But this type of video game is evil because it didn't come out when I was a child. That's basically what it is, right? It came out when I was an adult, and therefore it's terrifying for the children.
Blurring the lines of reality, that they were planning on doing this, that this was part of the crossover, the opening of...
AR was a thing, by the way, long before Pokemon Go. Just because this guy isn't keeping up to date with technology doesn't mean that it started when he found out about it.
...of the realms was the blurring the lines of reality, creating two realities in the same space.
Okay, I think that's probably enough. This guy is just a conspiracy theorist like any other. He has the exact same kind of ego-driven, I am right, I have the answers, I and my people are oppressed, we're being subjugated, we are the victims of some terrifying system. The system being the demonic Illuminati ? Because he never specifies exactly who the enemy is. Like we said, there's no information in this video, there's no facts, nothing is defined, it's just they and them and us and the children and scary and 20 years with just no reason for any of those things. It's just 10 minutes of appealing to the emotions of sheltered religious people. So there we go, that's a call for an uprising. I do like this genre of YouTube viewing. It's kind of like fantasy fiction. It appeals to the science fiction fan in me, you know? On another level, I am kind of sad that this is just another piece of media appealing to that internal fear, some of the internal hatred, just like trying to latch onto those emotions and just use whatever vague terminology might trigger that fear so that people will act or behave in a certain way. And that way, especially with videos like this, is typically by sheltering their children from the normal world, and I don't like that. Well, that was a ride. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like me to look at more of these videos or more of this kind of genre, let me know. Let me know if you have a better idea of a name for this genre. I feel like generally Christian conspiracy theorist kind of works, but there's like, I kind of feel like it needs something snappier, you know? Do leave your thoughts down below. Do like this video and share it if you enjoyed it. Maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already. Check out some of my other videos. Before we go, I would like to give a huge shout out and a big thank you to my giant chickens over on Patreon. Aaron Speer, Amalgam of Neuroses, Amber, Chantale, Chris Simpson, Connie Wright, Curious Capybara, Connla, Chicken Maximus Lions, goddammit Connla, Danny, L, Faye Gregory, Fulcrum, Gaming Ridge, Henry Curtis, Izzy, Joe Rowe, Keith from Anonymous, Lizzie Gale, Lynn Dobbs, Miles Tegg, Moggeringa, Mr. Creosote, Nick Hook, Ninja Red, Simping on Emma Thorne, Seriously, Taxman, Tracy O'Rourke, and Wasatch Witch. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your support. Have a very lovely week, and I will see you really soon.